Hello everybody, hope you guys are doing well. So today I bring you my Bane of Winter Forgeguard. It's not a Void Knight, it is a Forgeguard. I derped a little bit. So let's go to the echo while we explain. The whole idea was I wanted to use Bane of Winter. That's essentially it. And well, this is what I ended up with. Okay. Should have done one as a warm-up. As you can see, we just auto-attack stuff and things die. We have our void bolts. We have our Devouring Orb. We have this to move around and to give us frenzy. Volatile Reversal. Purpose is to give us frenzy for the most part. Also there's a movement skill, mostly for the frenzy. And as you can see, pretty tanky build. We are at what, 336 corruption, barely even taking any damage. Because I'm decent AoE, random damage just flying about. And yeah, this is it. We have the Devouring Orb automatically showing up, help with the AoE. Now let's just empower this guy so we can show you how it is against single target. And we don't even have the frenzy up. And yeah, essentially we're just multi-striking to proc Smite. Every time we attack we have a chance to proc the Blade Winter bolts, which is what you see flying off and piercing. So Devouring Orb and the piercing bolts, the Void Winter bolts for helping with clear, and then we just have Multistrike Smite for single target. While keeping Symbols of Hope as a way to buff a bit of our damage and to give us a block chance so you can get block cap. What else am I missing? And then there's Smite. Damage. Nothing much. Yeah, this is it. The whole idea was just being able to use Bane of Winter. This is nowhere near where it should be. I'm lacking a lot of attacks, at least 30% attack speed. We also don't have a perfect attack speed roll, but yeah, that is the idea. This is our skill setup. And we are triple set build with Legends Entwine. So there is that. Okay, so let's go over the build proper and into the skills. Okay, so as I was saying, we are now at skills. So Multistrike is our most important skill. It is what's gonna proc our smites, and we essentially build it for multiple hits and consumed, yada yada. I'm still not too sure if this is worth. Because our attack speed is already so low, I ended up opting for not going into this. Maybe it's wrong, maybe it's better for you to get this. Up to you. Anyhow, for leveling, I started routing down to Bladestorm, so you can get multiple hits on a single target. Then after that, we go up here to get the Smite. After that, if you have a decent block chance, you can go here for the Vengeful. I would leave this for later when you start actually get some proper block rate. After that, we go for the attack speed, because attack speed is really important. Get the max stacks. This is also you can leave for later, because until you start actually using it two-handed, because for leveling, going double wield is not a bad idea. Especially if you have like Polaris, you can double wield Polaris for the extra spell damage, and it's good. And after that, getting the Bladed Focus is very important to restore your mana, because as you could see, our mana just gets deleted. It's a good way to restore mana. You do lose a bit of single target damage, but it is what it is. And then afterwards, you could just get more damage for the melee hit, because we will be applying Time Rot. We have a decent amount of flat damage, so it's still a bit of damage, even if most of our focus is on our spells. Okay, After that, Devouring Orb. Devouring Orb, you want to prioritize going this way first. First you want the automation and the cosmic impact. Then you want to route here to get Abyssal Emission and the Chaotic Torrent. This is just gonna help you get through the campaign much easier. If you equip a staff at this point, as soon as you get Devouring Orb, you can just run for the most part, run through the campaign. You have like spell damage and void damage on it, and it will kill most stuff without you even having to do anything about it. Smite, third skill. So here you can just spec whatever until you unlock Devouring Orb. I won't worry too much. Same thing here, spec whatever you prefer. Warpath, Vengeance, Rive, up to you until you unlock Multistrike. Same thing here. These two are essentially the same because you can start with them. Then at level 20 we can get Smite. Generally I prioritize getting Ignite and hit versus Ignited, and then going down for the Void conversion if you go straight Void, because you can go Fire while leveling. You're not really forced into the Void conversion. The Void conversion is useful later. So it's up to you. Crit chance, crit multi, leave these for the last bit of the progression, and I would advise you to level up Sacrifice and Atonement more or less at the same time, just because the HP consumption can get really tricky. On softcore you cannot care, you may opt to not care too much and just go straight up Sacrifice. On hardcore I would advise you to maybe get this maxed out first before getting Sacrifice. Right, after that we have Symbols of Hope. Symbols of Hope, we want to get the block chance and then the extra sigil. Later on you can spec out of the extra sigil, get more crit chance, so you can save up on affixes for crit or get to 100% crit chance. It's kind of what we bank on. We bank a bit on this to get a 100% crit chance, because if you can get 100% block rate without this extra sigil, then that frees up all these points for you to shove in here. Until then, like this one, I still didn't have enough gear to get block cap, so we have Polygram still spec'd. You can see it on the end planner, how you can distribute your stats as an example to get to 100% block chance without needing to have Polygram. Okay, and then Volatile Reversal. You can use it in spec for the most part. Like, the Frenzy is nice, but it's not really needed until you go into Bane of Winter, because Bane of Winter is quite slow. So then the Frenzy becomes really important. And here, you prioritize getting the Frenzy while being able to jump back. Get the duration. Well, we go here, duration, Frenzy. After that, we get the cooldown reduction, as much as you need to get it 5 seconds. To get it 5 seconds, because the jump back will last 5 seconds with the 2 points here, which means you can effectively keep almost full uptime on Frenzy. It is a bit annoying to always having to plop in Volatile Reversal, but if you do that, you can get full uptime on Frenzy. And also on this armor mitigation to damage over time, which is also cool. After that, you just go Void Bolts, Time Rot. The damage over time taken is nice because you'll be doing Time Rot, still be stacking a bit of void damage, so it's just free damage for the most part. If you prefer other things, you can go for it. You can go for Abyssal Echoes. I ended up not going for it because my mana we're already deleting our mana. We don't need something else to delete our mana. And then here you go for the Void Essence, just because it gives you a bit more void damage. So why not? And that is it for skills, I think. Yeah, that is it for skills. Okay, now on to passives. Okay, so passives. So we do not prioritize getting to the end of the Forgeguard tree early, because we'll need like level 82 for Bane of Winter. Until then, you could just use whatever you want. So you can leave the Forgeguard tree for later, especially like nodes like this. What I would suggest is maybe start Paladin, so you can get the spell damage with the shield, or the attunement, or go Void Knight for the Void Res. This is gonna be up to you. You can go, for example, Void Knight and stack into the Void damage here, and get the Leech. The crit, I don't think it's worth early on, but these 3 nodes are okay early on. Same thing with Paladin. Attunement is nice. The block chance, while nice, it's not particularly mandatory early on. And this is just nice, especially if you're going to be using a shield. I was, because I was using... We'll leave that part for the gearing. On Sentinel, I forgot. Early on, you might prefer going to Strength, especially because it gives you the Void Res, which is full as well. But then you'll want to go for Vid. 1 more HP and resist as well. And then because your Devouring Orb actually gets flat spell damage out of it, well, it's good. It will give you more damage than Strength. At the end of the day, Strength is only going to give you, mostly going to give you defenses and a bit of damage and Multistrike. Relevant. So I suggest that. After that, we get the damage reduction from nearby enemies and mana restore on Multistrike. Pretty simple, pretty standard. Nothing spectacular here. And Forgeguard, and this is the big one, so to speak. We go Strength. After the Strength, we get... This is up to you. You can go for the block first. I went for this first because I was still using melee hits early on into the game. Ended up being so much useful. Because you can still mess around with Forge Strike as well. Early on, if you have enough plat, doesn't matter. Forge Strike will still hurt. But yeah, the reason why we go the leftover points, you can put him into Strength if you prefer. I just put him here because Bane of Winter will convert added flat into spell damage, like up to 42% of your added flat into spell damage. So having more flat means more spell damage as well. Then here this is important. It helps you cap your crit, gives you crit multiplier based on Strength, which is also why the 2 points Strength here are not bad. But again, it's just 1 crit multi. It's like nice to have, but not really worth stacking Strength for the most part. And here we went for a couple of Bleed Chance and Ignite just because we didn't really have anything better. You can get Health if you prefer, up to you. This one is kind of important. The 5-pointer will give you a lot of armor mitigation converted to mitigation for damage over time. But the most important one, since we are not a VK, so you don't get access to this, our Smite is scaling off attunement. So we have a pretty decent interest on stacking attunement. Because it's just gonna be increased damage for Smite. Also, damage mitigation for damage over time. Good. Good defensively and offensively. Then Strength, just because there's nothing much better to get. And increase health. Here we went for the less damage taken. If you want to try and shift around some points to try and max this, also not a bad idea. I'll leave up to you. I didn't really want to go this route. I wanted to get more damage, so I ended up spending, on the planner at least, getting more points here. For example, Divine Bolts, more spell damage, more flat damage here because it gives you both flat melee and spell damage, so you're effectively double dipping in terms of spell damage since you get spell damage out of the flat as well. And yeah, and then the way I did this was 15 points in Void Knight first, then 15 points in Paladin, and then finished up. Well, 5 points here are important. because of the bonus, the Weapons Master, and then get the rest. So you can unlock Devouring Orb, so you can unlock the Sigil, Symbols of Hope, and then only later do you fully finish the Forgeguard tree to unlock Forge Master's Might. When I did this, I unlocked Forge Master's Might at 83, and Bane of Winter becomes available at 82. Until then, I used the Polaris. I slammed Polaris with flat spell damage and some armor shred and void penetration. Yeah, that is it for passives, I think. Okay, moving on. Okay, now gear. So, disclaimer: this gear is not great. Not great at this point. Of we having T7 Citadel boots with T7 movement speed, T3 hybrid health, Tier 1 halberd, nothing else. This is how bad it is. On the flip side, you have this near perfect relic. Perfect block chance, not perfect attunement, almost perfect spell damage on Smite, and double health. This is what you want, really, because you won't be needing resist, especially if you have a good roll Legends Entwined. That's where I actually should have started. We are using a Legend Entwined, mostly because I wanted to use the Void Knight set. So if I want to use Void Knight set with the Bane of Winter, I need a Legend Entwined. Since I have Legend Entwined, it made sense for me to get Last Bear because, well, Champion's Regalia, which we don't have here, Champion's Regalia and Leonine Greathelm are very good bases, so just get free 30 strength. Why not? And you also get 5 all attributes, 5 all reses, 1 all skills if you have a properly rolled legend. So yeah, after that, well, since we are already doing 2 sets, why not go all the way into the triple set? So we ended up going with Halvar. First, because it gives us 40 flat spell damage, which is quite nice. And because we can get avalanche procs. I mean, it's not going to be doing that much damage, but hey, 3 hits, 3 damage. Even if it's not much, still helps with the clear. And this also gives us will also provide us flat void and cold spell damage. Ideally, you want to slam attack speed, T7 attack speed, and probably, I'm not yet sure, because this would need testing or somebody who actually knows more about min maxing. If it's better to slam T7, T5/T7 flat melee void along with the attack speed. Attack speed is your main stat. You get a 1 LP, you get T7 attack speed. After that, void melee flat, void penetration, armor shred, all are good ops. Armor shred less, more the void penetration and the flat void, or any kind of flat really, because either you prefer void, but any kind of flat will help you get more spell damage. It's the same reason why I use Falcon Fists, because Falcon Fists not only gives us good attack speed, which we need, because this is a pretty slow weapon, and it also gives us flat melee fire damage, which means, you guessed it, more spell damage because of Bane of Winter. Here we'd want the Jade Amulet. This is what I had. I mean, it had flat spell damage. Why not? And as you can see again, it has a T7 spell crit, T5 health. The resistances, we don't need them. And then we'd want the Time Rot sealed. This is the result of havocing it. Okay, shield. You want T7 block chance, and then you want block effectiveness, health, and damage reduction on block. This is the perfect ideal. Well, see what you can get. You can also go instead. I can't, in good cautious, recommend you to replace block effectiveness for the set affix, just because block effectiveness is so good for damage reduction. And yeah, we do this on Iron Glass Shield because it has the highest block chance of all the base shields you can get, which means easier block cap. Belt, Brewmaster's Buckle, gives us Vitality, which means more damage for Devouring Orb, and health. Also helps us cap out our Endurance. Also is fairly easy to farm and get with 2-3 LP. Also gives us armor, more potions, more health on potion. Well, I think it's a good overall belt for being tanky. No, this relic is really important that you get a Solarum banner because of the base block chance, which will also help a lot, capping out block. And then at the end, you can get it a red ring because, well, we have this. This allows us to stack a whole bunch of attributes. So having a red ring is just getting free damage reduction. Not to mention helps out with the resist, so you don't have to worry about resist at all. You can just get health everywhere. And then here, I'll leave it up to you if you prefer the health, if you prefer the attunement. If you can also go for spell damage. All of those are good options. Depends on what you have or what makes more sense for you to get. I got health on this one because it is the more generic thing for me for hardcore. Instead of going for the attunement or the spell damage, it will be up to you. On the planner, I can't remember what we have on the planner, but you can check it. Okay, also for the stats here, you'd want T7 void damage, followed by attunement, followed by double health. And the reason I say T7 void damage is because we really want that flat spell void damage, along with the increased void damage, mostly the flat. Since we do not have any base spell damage here, we're just relying on the conversion from the flat, and as you can see, that roll can be pretty bad. Every flat you can get here is gonna be great. Same thing here, same logic. Increased void damage, attunement, health, and then you seal the set affixes. On this build we do all the sets, the set affixes should be sealed because there are better stuff. There's better stuff to get. Here you'd want crit multi, for example. Here you can get attunement. Crit multi is probably better, but you can also get attunement. Also useful. Yeah, and you can also get crit chance until you manage to cap out your crit. Because here, as you can see, our crit chance is at 65. That's why we have so much flat crit here. Because if my math is correctly, we should have Smite at 100% crit chance with this setup. So it is a question of, depending on what you have, which stats you get, is how you mess with it to fix. So yeah, here you'd want like increased hybrid health, attack speed, and the block chance instead of crit reduction. First, we don't need crit reduction. We will, even with min rolls, we will be overcapping crit because this gives us 50, this gives us 35, and then we get 30 from the paladin passive from the shield. So you are more than crit capped. You don't need it. The reason I put Citadel boots is because they have the highest armor of the boots. So why not? I think we covered. Oh, here you want the Jade Amulet for the attack speed. Pretty self-explanatory. Idols. I think, yeah, idols. Yeah, we covered everything. Idols, just go crit. Crit everywhere. If you can afford the crit, get crit. Same thing with these smalls. You want the void penetration, and if you can afford, get crit. Like if you don't need, for example, here we have poison. I kind of like to have poison a bit overcapped because poison shreds resists by default. So having it overcapped is not bad. For example, this necrotic, if I could, I'd get void penetration and crit chance, crit avoidance and crit chance. We don't care for the crit avoidance, we just care for the crit chance. Because all the crit we can get here means we can get it off other places. And on the final planner, you'll see we have complete crit cap. Again, use these to cap out our resist you need. If you don't need, get crit chance. Same thing here, use these to cap your resist, get at least one with frailty chance. At the very least one. And then use this cap out your resist. If you don't need the resist, I would suggest get block effectiveness and health on block. Health gain on block. Mostly the block effective. And now blessings. Okay, here I have the crit chance. It really will depend. If you can get to 100% crit or very close to 100% crit, get the crit multi. If you're pretty far away from it, crit strike will probably be better. We don't care too much about the void shred because we do have shred on the Devouring Orb. So there is that. Here I went for the Alrezes. There's nothing really that useful there, so getting all resists helps cap out all your resists, so you can free up more stuff like on the idols for block chance, for block effectiveness. Yeah. Here we went for armor. I am currently almost to the limit of endurance, so that's why I went armor. If you don't have endurance capped, just get endurance here. I think it's what's on the final planner. Here block chance. I mean, pretty explanatory. You want the 100% block chance. Block effectiveness is also good. So yeah, 8% block chance if you need it. Then, because if you can get 8% here, means you can get like Alarm Banner with 4% and still be block capped, for example. And here I went to Sun Chance because, yeah, there's nothing that I feel is that good. So Stun Chance is just a bit of CC. You can get it to 100% because you're critting and some of your crits are actually pretty high, so there's a decent chance for you to stun things. And I guess that's that. That's when it comes to gear. Okay, now for leveling, this is something I meant to do with other characters and I always keep forgetting. So this is the gear we use while leveling. As you can see, we prioritize getting the last bear set and then getting health. Getting the sets and getting health, because Alvar, for example, will give you with 2-piece gives you a ton of spell damage. Getting the 2-piece, if initially even it went because I was dual wielding, so instead of using a shield I was using these two. And yeah, I had this slammed. If you don't have a Polaris slammed, a normal Polaris will work just as well, for example. If you have it. If you don't have it, oh, I mean, you can just go attack speed. Attack speed, void damage, or you can use a staff, like I said before, and bank on the Devouring Orb. It will depend a bit on what stage of the leveling you are. If you're really like starting out, getting weapons with flat damage is always a good option, or some bleed or ignite. All of those work. It will really a bit depend on which skill you prefer to use. Because if you go, for example, for Rive, you probably want more flat, because Foe Cleaver, I think it's Foe Cleaver. Foe Cleaver. Yeah, this gives you the double the effect of damage stats, so your flat damage will be effectively double. Same thing with Ailment. If you're going, say, for example, Vengeance, I would be going Bleed probably, because I think it is the best way to get damage. Bleed, or go here for the Iron Blade, which is also pretty nice. Because it's more hits, which means early on pretty bit more damage. You can also go for the Void if you want. To go straight up Void damage. Again, there's a lot of ways. For example, I am very partial to going into Warpath and going Heart Scorcher, Path of Fire, Arsenal of Flame, because I feel this, even without much gear, ends up doing quite a good job while you're leveling towards unlocking Multistrike, Smite, Devouring Orb. And you can, again, like I said early on, get a point here to double wield, because it's gonna be really, really good while double wielding. And later on, depending on which point you are, you can go Sword and Polaris and Shield to get the set bonus after 42, especially because then you can equip Legends Entwined if you have it. If you don't have it, I would say you might be better off with the staff and abusing the Devouring Orb and building this more as a caster. Abusing the fact that you have the Devouring Orb and stacking Vitality. Again, there's so many ways to level. That's always difficult to give leveling advice. In this case, I went with, like I said, double wield, and then the last bear set, Alvar set, and the Forgotten Knight set. Now I also used this for a while. These are like my low level items. I could show you some. Like this combo, health regen, ward per second, is really, if you have 2 silver rings with this, it's really good. Then the static is nice for casters. There's another one somewhere with the knight one. Well, doesn't really matter. Another important thing is you can get like T8 movement speed boots. Also helps with the progress. Yeah, I would say if you want to level and you really want some help, it's always better to just leave a comment. Ask specifically what you need or what you want to go for, and I will reply to you and give you how I would go about it. I think it's much better than trying to tell you, oh, do this, do that, do the other. There's so many ways. You just need to tell me what you prefer, and I will try to give you a proper advice and some items you can use. And then depending on if you start or not, because it varies a lot. Again, if you're starting out and have nothing, there's going, for example, the staff route with Devouring Orb and stacking Vitality is probably your best bet. If you already have a lot of stuff, then you can start going, you can do dual wield with Polaris, you can even dual wield Polaris, Multistrike Smite, and then everything melts. There's so many options. Then you can even go fire starter Polaris, for example, as well, because it will give you more damage and the Searing Flames. I don't want to keep repeating myself. Leveling, it's better to just ask directly what you have or what you want to do, and I'll reply to you. And I think that is it. I think I didn't forget anything. Yeah. Okay. So you'll have there on the description, you'll have the endgame planner. I can actually flip it to you. As you can see, it has some very professional. This is the Aberroth Kill. And as you can see, like, ideally you can get like 4k HP, 75% armor mid, 100 block chance, full res capped. And then this is what we're dealing with in terms of defenses. Pretty tanky. You can just take a physical or cold hit to the face that hits you for 85k and shrug it off. It does look pretty damn tanky. But yeah, I guess that is everything, I suppose. Oh, hope you guys enjoyed it. As usual, any doubts, any questions you might have, just give me a comment or drop by the stream, and I'll be always happy to talk about it. Even if I'm at another game, because currently I'm messing a bit with Grim Dawn. Anyhow, after this I'll probably go over my Volcanus Forgeguard, because we did all of the Forgeguards all in one go. Bane of Winter Forgeguard, Volcanus Forgeguard, and now I'm working on Torkrefin Forgeguard, which is kind of looking to be the most busted of the bunch. But who knows? When we finish that, I'll be able to tell. Anywho, bye guys, and thanks for watching. After you'll have the Aberroth Kill, so enjoy. Yeah, with this silly setup of gear. Bye bye. Okay, let's try it out.
The altar of oblivion.
So you finally returned to me, and with a guest. But first, prove yourselves worthy.
Aberroth! Face us yourself!
Yeah.
Foward!
The damage isn't particularly great, it's also not that bad either.
Traveler, don't worry about me.
Such wasted potential. All of this would have welcomed you. You fight for nothing. The void hungers.
Yeah, I need more attack speed.
See the beauty we were denied. The terror turned her back on us. Darkness reigns. The gods tore our world apart. They deserve their fate. We can embrace oblivion. We treated the world no better. Death is our legacy. Oblivion.
Come over here, Abby.
The void comes.
I think the voice line should come before he does the skill, not at the same time.
This is his answer. The void comes. Hope will not save you. You fight for nothing. The void hungers.
It's being incredibly annoying
You
where he's
fight
standing.
for nothing. Hope will not save you.
There, got him. Bit sketchy, but we got him. Oh, yellow. Good morning now. A bit sketchy, but we got him.